Hello there all. Thanks for clicking on another video from my strange little Paranormal Diaries channel. So this story is linked to the story about George, the poltergeist of the hotel in Bristol, and that's because it has parallels in it which are very similar. So let's get into it right away. So this story, I'm going to call it "We Live Here Too." So this probably took place, it must have been about 20 years ago, I think, and it was a good friend of mine. We were friends all the way through secondary school and high school, and we changed our directions and kind of lost touch through university and stuff. We went different places, and then I met my wife and I moved to Japan, and she met her husband, and she stuck around in the Cotswolds but fell pregnant and decided they wanted to, and when she was about 2 months pregnant, they bought a home together. So they moved from where they were living into this new home, and the home was about 200 years old. It's in the Cotswolds. Cotswolds is very famous for having these lovely sandstone cottages and thatched roofs and all of that sort of stuff. Really pretty buildings and rolling hills. It's in the middle of England, about 300 miles north of London, west of London roughly. So not far from Birmingham, Worcester. Those are some major cities that are nearby. Anyway, so they're moving in. She's got crockery in the kitchen. She's unpacked her boxes and put the crockery away in the cupboards in their little galley kitchen, and she's put her cutlery in the drawers and arranged them by category neatly in the drawers in the kitchen. And it's a little thin galley kitchen, and off to one end of the kitchen there's a utility room with a washing machine and all that sort of malarkey. And then if you come out of the kitchen, you walk straight through into the living room. Now the house, if you looked at it from an aerial view, it would be like an L shape. So you've got living room, and then you've got a little porch and back entrance here, and then you've got living room, porch, an entrance, and then kitchen, galley kitchen, and then an L shape, and in the L shape is the utility room, basically, off the end of the kitchen. And it's got 2 stories, so upper floor has 2 bedrooms on it and a bathroom. So it's a small cottage. And another important factor is that she had a pet dog at the time. Although when they were moving in, they didn't have the dog with them because the dog was being looked after by other family members, so that they could just concentrate on getting things put away. And that's what she was doing. So she put these things in the kitchen and put them away, and then she'd gone into the living room to start unpacking books and putting them on bookshelves. So she was putting them on the bookshelves by category or genre or whatever, and as she's doing that, she hears an almighty crash coming from the kitchen. So she goes to investigate what's going on in the kitchen, and to find cupboards are opened, there's crockery on the floor, it's fallen out and it's smashed. And then one of the drawers is open, the cutlery drawer is open, and the cutlery's jumbled up, whereas she had actually put it in order by category. So that was very strange. So she had to clean up, of course, clean up the crockery and push the drawer back, and then she went back into the living room, and guess what? All the books flown off the shelf all over the floor, just randomly. So she's like, what the hell's going on here? She realized at that point, obviously, nobody's playing pranks on her, because she was the only one there at the time. Her husband had to go to work, so she's the only one there. Yeah, she decided right then and there, okay, there's something here. There's definitely an entity of some kind here, so I might as well just talk to it and try and appease it and become friendly with it, because I mean, what else are you going to do? If you don't, it's just going to keep doing these destructive and annoying things. So she said, oh, okay, I understand, I'm not alone here. Sorry to bother you. I didn't realize that anybody else was occupying here. But that's okay. And then she introduced herself. I'm blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and I'm moving in here with my husband, and we're going to have a baby and stuff. And we've got a pet dog. And if you're, you know, if you're already here, we'd love to be able to be on friendly terms, and be mutually respectful to each other, and blah blah blah. So that kind of thing, right? I don't know the exact words she said, but she just said she talked to it to appease it. So this is what I'm assuming. That's what I would do in the situation if it was me, as well. So so that's that takes us to the next part of the story. So things calm down significantly after she's done that, but it's still a bit mischievous. There are things that go missing, like for example in the porch, the entrance, the rear entrance to the house, there's a little table where she would keep her keys for the car, right? And hang up jackets and so on and so forth, and the keys would go missing and just appear randomly somewhere else, or they'd go missing and she'd go looking for them, and then, oh, I must have, maybe I dropped them in blah blah blah, or perhaps it was the entity playing tricks on me, and then she'd go looking for them or whatever, and then she'd go back and they'd be there again. You know, little things like that, right? Just little things like that. So it wasn't particularly malevolent. It wasn't particularly benevolent either. It's just a bit of a prankster. And I've heard other stories similar to that, you know, online. I've researched stories at a local library when I had another experience, and after the experience in Bristol with George, I did research. You know, I did look for accounts of poltergeist, and see what commonalities there were between the accounts that I found in these books or online, and in my story and in my friend's story. And so one of the commonalities in my friend's story is this, and this is the next part. So her dog, which I'm not sure what breed it was, but I think it was probably a collie from what I remember her saying. And collies are very perceptive. I used to have a collie when I lived in Scotland. It's a super smart dog, really clever. It was almost like having a person around you, you know. It was so it was easy to communicate with the dog, and could understand. My dog could understand me very well. It was a very interesting. That's another thing which interests me as well. But anyway, I won't digress. Her dog, very perceptive, and it would know when the entity was around, because it would just fixate and start whimpering. It wouldn't bark, just whimper. It's not freaking out like crazy. and if my friend went to the area it was fixated on, she would notice a chill and a funny smell, which she described as a sour smell. So this is the same as what I experienced in the hotel. Myself and my girlfriend experienced in the hotel. A kind of cold patch passing us, and this fishy smell, and interference with electricity as well. So that immediately made me believe her when she said that, and she had noticed that a number of times, cold patches and funny smells, and things would constantly move around, or temporarily go missing in her house apparently. So, and her husband knew about it, of course, because she told him, and he just decided, well, we'll accept it and just try and live with it and see how it goes. Unfortunately, it wasn't bad, it wasn't malevolent, like I said. It didn't do anything beyond just small mischief. And they were eventually able to resell the house at a profit further down the line. I don't know what the new owners think of their permanent resident, but hopefully they get on okay with it too. So that's that story. So there you go, and I've drawn the parallels between my story in the hotel in Bristol and my friend's story too. So very interesting. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do feel free to share your stories, and because that's what I'm interested in doing here, is comparing notes basically, and seeing what patterns occur commonly, because those are common things, and they're documented in many other stories as well. The cold patches, the funny smell, the interference with electrical appliances, and sometimes damp. Some people have said they're damp patches, and sometimes they say they're a residue on the wall or something where this cold patch was, and this funny smell was. Which I've also heard accounts of that, although I've never seen that myself. So that's an interesting point to look into too. Anyway, thanks for watching, and the next story that I'll upload is going to be a real freaking crazy one, called M1, and that one is freaky. It's going to be in 2 parts. All right. Anyway. Talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.